Before AC Factory puts out their Ryu Hayabusa knockoff, we have this KO here. But is it any good? Let's find out. Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're gonna take a look at a knockoff of amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Ryu Hayabusa that I got from AliExpress. Before we start, a quick disclaimer: I never played Ninja Gaiden, but I saw gameplay and I know how good the original Revoltech figure is. So when this KO was announced on AliExpress, I immediately wanted to check it out. So I got one, and then AC Factory or AC Toys announced that they are making their own knockoff of this same figure. I'm kind of sure that the AC version will be much better than this one, but you never know. Maybe this copy is also worth getting. We'll see. Okay, first a quick look at the packaging. It's a standard Revoltech box, and this is a 1:1 copy, but with a lower resolution of the print. Here in front we have a promo shot of the figure, and then the writing. Down here it says Ninja Gaiden, we have Kyoto logo up here, Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi, and down here it says Ryu Hayabusa. Side of the box shows another promo shot with names and logos. Here it says Team Ninja, and I don't know what this KT means. Back of the box shows the figure in all kinds of dynamic poses and also shows all included accessories. Other side of the box shows two close-up shots of the figure. Here is the top of the box, and we have some warnings and info on the bottom. But now, let's open it up and let's take a look at the figure. Here he is out of the box, and yeah, this knockoff is fine for what it is, but it's not on the same level of quality as City Toys, Mass Toys and AC Factory. It's fine, but not all that great. My copy has some very stiff joints and some very loose joints, and those are the kind of issues that for the most part we don't have with those KO companies that I just mentioned. This guy is not falling apart, it's not that level of bad, but there are some things that you'll have to fix in order to have a decent Ryu copy. First, let's start with the height. This Ryu knockoff is around 15 centimeters tall. I don't have the original, so I don't know how similar it is to the real one. But going back to the issues that I have with this copy, first, take a look at the face paint, the skin tone. Look how different it is from the skin tone of the arms. I don't think that's how it should be. But then, the joints. The head is very loose. It doesn't flop around, but you can feel that there is no friction when you move it. This toe joint though, it's extremely floppy. See how it won't hold the position? The other one is fine, but this one is completely loose. And then, as a contrast to that, we have the arms. They don't look too bad in terms of sculpt and paint, but elbow joints are extremely tight and very hard to move. Look at this. I'm trying to push it as far as I'm willing to go, but I don't want to break it. The joint does not want to bend. So, in case you are like me and you got this KO instead of waiting for the AC version, make sure you heat up the plastic or even use a few drops of oil on these joints to make them work. I've also noticed that this arm tends to pop out of the shoulder. It doesn't fall out completely, but it does rise up when I move the arm, so I always have to plug it back in. My copy also has a stock butterfly joint. For example, see how far forward this one moves? Well, this other one does want to go back like this, but moving forward, it's really stiff. It's kind of stuck here at this position. You can see in comparison that it should move forward slightly more, but it doesn't. So this is the movement that you'll get, while this one is much better and much more fluid. This issue reminds me of Black Panther and Flash KOs that I reviewed in the past. They also had that same butterfly issue that I had to fix. And then we have this gap here where the tie cut is. You can hide it a little bit, but the gap always remains bigger on this leg than it is on this one. All in all, those are some of the problems I've noticed looking at the figure straight out of the box. Most of them can be fixed if you have some time and patience, but I have to point them out so that you know what you are getting here. Again, AC Factory is coming out with their version, and judging by how amazing their Ultron is, I'm sure they will do a much better job and we won't need to do all these fixes in order to have a decent knockoff of this figure. But looking at the sculpted details, this is not that bad. If we ignore the issues like the skin tone of the face, the sculpt is not that bad for a knockoff that is not made by any of those known to us KO companies. This piece here is nicely sculpted and even painted so that it looks metallic and reflective. The texture on the scarf and on the torso looks good, and all of these silver details are nicely painted, and it's like that on the back as well. There's not much paint bleeding on this figure, which surprises me considering all other issues that I've mentioned. Of course, you will see some plastic imperfections like here on the arm, but the gloves and these armor parts look very good. Same can be said for the legs and these shin protectors. All of these details are nicely sculpted and painted. All three of these small knives or daggers are removable, so you can unplug them if you wish to do so. We also have this small Revoltech ball joint here in the back of the scarf, because there is an accessory, that other part of the scarf, that we need to plug in, but we'll get to that in a bit. Let's now take a look at his articulation. So the head, even though it is loose, has a nice range of movement. It can turn 360, you get a nice side-to-side tilt. This is how far he can look down, and here is how far he can look up. As already mentioned, we have that standard Revoltech butterfly joint, and here is how far his arms can go across the chest. And then here is how far they go across his back. Arms rotate 360, here is how far they go out. We have a bicep swivel, and then a swivel in the elbows, and take a listen to this. You hear how tight that is? The elbows are horrifically tight, and that is even after I heated them up and after I applied a little bit of oil. They are still extremely tight. Then we have a swivel in the wrist and a hinge in all directions. We have two cuts in the torso, so this is where we get our full rotation. He can tilt side to side. Here is how far he bends forward, and here is how far he bends back. And I just wanted to mention that these knives have a really sharp points, so be careful with that. Legs go out all the way. This is how far they move forwards and back. We have a tie cut, knees that bend all the way. Then we have a boot cut and a swivel in the ankles. Feet move forward and back. We have a toe joint and a generous ankle pivot. So in general, it's not that terrible. The articulation is still pretty good, but the arms still pop off easily. The elbow joints are still too tight, and this toe joint still flops around. Let's now take a look at his accessories. First, he comes with the scarf piece that we need to plug onto the figure. It goes here in the back, plug it in like this, and we have a little bit of articulation there as well. So here is how that looks. Then we get the bag with a bunch of alternate hands. First, we get a pair of fisted hands that are already on the figure. Then we get a pair of gripping hands, but then there is another gripping hand that to me looks pretty similar to the ones that we already saw. Then we get a pair of relaxed hands, then a pair of more dynamic hands, and then this pair of two finger pointing hands. But we also get another one of these, even though the sculpt is slightly different. Here they are side by side, and you can see that on this one the two fingers are connected, while here they are separated because something should go in here. He should hold something, so let's move forward. He comes with these two throwing stars, and these have a nice metallic look. Then we get two swords, and both of these look fantastic, especially the handles. Look at this. Look how nice and detailed this look, especially for a KO. This is really well done. And then on this one, the blade also has this red pattern, so that's nice as well. This one doesn't have that, but this one does, and it's like that on both sides. And he can grip these swords without any issues, like that, and the other one. So there you go. For the throwing stars, we have this third gripping hand, and I assume that it should work like this, or you could even use these hands with two pointing fingers. This could also work. Then we get his sword sheath, and this one is straight, it's not curved, so I'm guessing that this sword does not go inside. It's more likely to be used with this sword here, and this is also rubbery, so let's try to put this sword in and hope for the best, hope that I won't break the blade. It does work, that's good to see. Here we have the small Revoltech joint, so we should plug this into his back. There is a peg hole here. It's a really tight fit, but yes, it can be done. This is now the look that we have. Yeah, it looks good. Let's see how well switching out the hands go. Yeah, we pulled this one off and you can see that a half of this small wrist joint stayed in the hand. So we'll have to pull this out. There we go. I finally was able to take this out of the hand. Yeah, this will be an issue because these two halves of the joint are too loose and this one easily pops off. So that will be an issue whenever you try to switch out the hands. This is a frustrating issue, something that I'm expecting that AC Factory will do much better. Yeah, see, I just slightly twisted it and this came off, so that's an issue. And also be careful because this piece going around the wrist is a separate piece, so be careful when switching out the hands if that's something that you will want to do, because this is really frustrating. Be careful not to lose this piece. But then there is a second tray with even more accessories. We get an alternate pair of lower legs. They have this metallic armor and these spikes, and this looks fantastic. He also comes with alternate arms with these huge claws, and this also looks fantastic. But unfortunately, I have to tell you that these elbow joints are equally stiff on the alternate arms. Then we get this weapon here. This is like a mace with these spikes, and this is a real chain. And then we have this hook on the other side with a sculpted snake or a dragon on the handle. As you can see, here is the head, and then it wraps around the handle, and here we see the tail, and it's like that on the other side as well. But the accessory looks fantastic. The sculpt is really nice, paint job as well. This silver looks beautiful, and yeah, this is really well done. They also give you this small Revoltech ball joint in case you break the wrists, or the scarf joint. They also give you this small tool for articulating his eyes. And when we take off the head, we can see that this is actually a faceplate that we can take off, and that is good because maybe someone will want to customize this, repaint the skin tone, you know. This way it will be much easier to do it. But on the other side here, you can see that he has adjustable eyes, and it's interesting to see that these are actually like a small ball joints, so I'm not sure how useful this will be, but we can try and move the eyes and see what will happen. I just poked out his eye. This is his eye. This is a pupil. That's crazy. You will need to be very careful with this not to lose it. Man, these are really tough to handle. It's hard to adjust them because I want for the pupils to be seen in the eyes, but I'm having a tough time aligning it and making it happen. No, I just aligned it the way I wanted and the eye popped out. Man, this is really frustrating. I'm not in a hurry, I'm really taking my time here, and it's really difficult to do this. I don't think that this is a good design choice. See how the eyes are white? And I would really like for those pupils to be seen. Good God, I did it. It took me like 10 to 15 minutes to do it. I don't know if you can see it, but now the pupils are almost aligned so that he looks straight forward. This was so difficult to do because the eyes are curved out down, and so you need to position the eyes like this so that they go down, and then I was messing around with centering them. So this was too much work for such a feature that you probably won't even see when you put this figure on the shelf. But the feature is there, and I just wanted to check if it works, and it does work, but it's too hard to do it. It's too much work, and I'm not a fan of it. But there you go, it can be done. And here is now how that looks on the body. And finally, he comes with a display stand that is separated into 3 parts that you have to put together. And let's try to switch out the arms and legs. The legs slide off pretty easy, and it's just this lower piece where the boot cut is. See? Slides off easily. Well, good thing about these alternate legs and feet is that they don't have a toe joint, so no floppy toe joint here. Let's slide these on, no issues there, so that's good. Arms also slide in fairly easily, and here is now that alternate look, and yeah, I'm loving this. I think that this looks even better than the base figure that we had straight out of the box. The elbow joints, I do like them better on these alternate arms, even though they are still stiff, but just like slightly less stiff than the first ones. The feet don't have a toe joint, they still have a nice back and forwards movement and a nice rockers, so that's good. The hands are removable on these as well. Okay, the design of these wrist parts is different, but the wrist joints here are sturdier, are better than the ones that we had before. I should also mention that the scarf is constantly falling off of this ball peg here. That's kind of annoying, but yeah, I like this look much better. I should also mention that hands can hold these weapons without any issues. Phew, okay, that was a lot. Let's now compare this guy to some other figures. Here is how he scales with City Toys 2.0 Revoltech Spider-Man and Mass Toys Custom Symbiote Spidey. Here is how he scales with the City Toys knockoff of Mafex Gambit on the left and the original Mafex Gambit on the right. Here he is next to the City Toys knockoff of Revoltech Agent Venom and an AliExpress knockoff of Revoltech 2.0 Deadpool. Here is how he scales with the original Mafex Classic Suit Spidey and Daredevil, and then here he is next to the City Toys Brown Suit Wolverine and the Amazing Spider-Man, Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Wolverine and Marvel Legends Symbiote Spidey, SH Figuarts Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and Sentinel Peter B. Parker, and then here we have him next to Star Wars The Black Series Vader and Stormtrooper, and then to compare him to some larger figures, here he is next to the NECA TMNT movie Raphael and Masters of the Universe Revelation He-Man. Here is how he scales with Savage Crucible Vetaris Rapax and NECA Feral Predator. And finally, here he is next to YOLO Park Transformers AMK Pro Series, Optimus Prime and Starscream. So there you go, that was my look at this AliExpress knockoff of amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Ryu Hayabusa. If I remember correctly, I paid around 20 something euros for this figure, and if it wasn't for the fact that AC Factory will make their version, I would say that this guy can be worth getting if you can accept that there are some issues that you have to fix in order to have a decent copy. But I will say to you that it's best to wait for that AC release, because I'm sure it will be much better than this guy here. This is still acceptable, especially if you are a customizer and you want a nice Revo body for some kind of project. But if you are after a good knockoff of a Revoltech Ryu Hayabusa, again, I would suggest you wait for AC to release their copy. It should be out soon, so you don't even have to wait for too long. This non-AC copy is fine for what it is, but it just needs some work in order to be less frustrating. I will still leave a link for where you can get it in case you still want to do so for whatever reason. I just wanted to make this review in order to inform you guys and help you with your decision about if this KO is for you. That's all. But of course, all of these were just my thoughts, and now I would love to hear yours. What do you guys think about this figure? Do you like how it turned out? Do you plan on getting it? Let me know all of it down in the comments. As always, a huge thank you to my Patreon and channel members for their support. If you can also join and help, please do so. Links are in the video description. And of course, to all of you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here with me, and I'll see ya in the next video.